Yeah.
All right. All right. I gotta go. I gotta go to a birthday party. I'll see you later.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating.
Corey, can you see Nina Cambron?
I do see you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm super red though. I see. I don't know. It's
You're super red. You know what? I
light.
can't even see myself. Let me see.
I can see you.
Well, I need to see me so I make sure I don't look,
I see
off
the
center
pictures.
or
I see
something.
the pictures in your back. There you go. Bob, I see you.
Mhm.
You see me, Corey?
Steve, I just see your name. The Mr. Steve Lynn. See Jane
Okay.
Buckman. Oh,
Uh,
can't hear her though, but I see her. Let's see.
Let me try again here.
Oh, Bill. Okay. Maybe I can put one light. What's that? There? A little better.
It's almost too much light on you, Corey.
Woo! I'm ascending.
Okay,
It's like, it's
sorry,
blinding.
sorry.
I'm in Acapulco. What can I say? I don't know.
Well, you're in Acapulco. Are you
No,
serious?
no.
Okay.
Acapulco was Habitat Detroit, I knew where I am. I can't hide from the light. We're dancing together.
Are you at the office?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I live here now. Yep. My
Okay.
pillow is under Aaron's desk. Like daily naps. It's not bad. Einstein did that. I heard it. I already napped every couple hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at him now. He's no, but it is bright. I don't know what that. I don't even know where that light's coming from. That's the funny thing is
Is that an overhead light you've got going
it is.
right over you?
Okay, 5 minutes to go. Aaron gave me the rough test here. Kind of showed me how to click buttons. Quite complicated. I usually ask my kids to help me at this point.
It should be an interesting hour.
Hour? What? I thought it was supposed to be 10 minutes. I was supposed to go I talk
10 minutes. We didn't come on here for 10 minutes. We
Oh, I
came
could give
on
you
for an
2 or 3
hour, Corey.
hours. Bob, I'll put you to sleep.
No, not me.
Uh-huh.
If you had one of Aaron's hats and you put that on, that would
Oh,
help.
that's the whole purpose. I get it now. It's to block the
It's
light.
the hat.
Exactly.
Understand
The
now.
hat.
I thought it was like some type of fashion thing, but just to block. I get it. I'm gonna bring a visor, I think.
That'll work.
How's your new house doing, Corey? How's your new house?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's I first of all, DTE was working across the street, Jane, a couple days
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
They knocked off half the power in the house. Now, what does that mean? It means like I've got, a light in the bathroom that works, but the shower light doesn't work. I've got the
Oh.
toaster and the oven work and the little microwave, but the refrigerator's out. I just don't get it. It's like every other,
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Corey, I
Yeah.
think you should call DTE to come over to your neighborhood on Fernley
I did, oh,
and do a little
Fernley.
work to knock
Well,
out half your power there.
I'd save a lot of money if that was the case. No, but yeah. So like, I'm like, how are they going to pay for my food that went bad? Like, how do I, like, what's the next step?
Get
I'm
it
going to sue them.
generated,
I'm going to sue them
Corey.
for a turkey sandwich.
There you go. You mean you
No,
haven't
yeah.
made the call yet?
No, I made the call. But you met my wife. I made the call
Yes,
before the
I was
call
just
was even
gonna-
the call. Yeah. I've called them like 30
Yes.
times. Yeah, they keep on giving me an estimate. They're like, "Oh, it was supposed to be 10:30 a.m." So I'm there,
Uh-huh.
waiting for them at 10:30. They don't show up. They give me one at 12:30. Of course, I leave, and then the next one it's 2. So I'm expecting them there at 2 o'clock to do something. But I
When?
don't know.
Make you that turkey sandwich.
They owe me that turkey sandwich.
Ah.
Unbelievable.
However, it
Maybe-
must be
maybe-
beautiful that it's springtime and you have that yard and
Oh,
everything. It just
it's-
must be lovely, right?
So we just mulched, we just cleaned it up, had it de-weeded, de-sticked for 30
Mhm.
years. It's like living in a forest. And do you know what ended up happening?
What?
I woke up Monday night shivering, like I was shaking and I was sweating. And my wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I think I have a fever or something." So, she's like, "Okay, well, just, get undressed and I'll run you an ice bath." So I get my clothes off. I guess ice bath's a thing in her family. They love the ice. So everyone's doing it. It's a fad now, the ice bath. I don't know. So
Uh,
I'll run you the ice bath. So it's great. I take my clothes off and I have a bullseye on my leg.
What?
So it's a tick bite.
Oh.
So she sent me to the doctors. They gave me some medication and a headache. I mean, there's all these like weird things that were going on, but I got bit by, or I had
Wow.
to do by a tick
Yeah.
for doing all that
Oh.
yard work,
I'm
so
telling you. Oh, I know. I'm back in the Midwest. I had a tick. We have a new little puppy. There was ticks on the little puppy. It's like, oh my God. I don't
Yeah.
remember ticks in Florida.
I've never seen a tick in my life. I don't even know that they, but it's a thing.
It's a thing. I know. I know.
I also got bit by a tick.
You got the
And I-
bullseye?
Oh.
Was
And
it
I
the bullseye?
saw it and it was sticking out of me.
Oh gosh.
The
Oh.
body
Oh.
was, it was disgusting.
Ah.
My husband couldn't pull it out. I had to go to urgent care and they had to
Oh.
yank it out.
Oh my God.
And I got it from my puppy. So
Uh-oh.
see, I like wrapped into both of your stories.
What's
man.
going
I love
on
it.
is
Horrible.
that
I love
what's
it.
going on is global warming. Ticks usually die off in the late fall and the
Yes.
winter, and
Yeah.
now they don't. So we're seeing
Oh,
huge
wow.
amounts. That's what's going
That's
on.
what the doctor told me too.
Yep. Yep.
That there would
That
be a
is
whole
what's
lot
happening.
more this year.
Good to know.
Yep.
Good
We
to
all
know.
need to go on
You
like
might
a.
even get to have another tick.
Well, that
They're
would
probably
be
going to put us
something.
on next
I know.
guard, like the
I
dogs
know.
are.
I'm like really leery now, and I have a huge yard too.
Yeah.
would be,
Yeah.
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 Now I'm like full dressed in like a like a puffy outfit. I don't even
Get a
you can see my
beekeeper's.
eyes. See my eyes.
You got to tuck your pants into your socks and your sleeves into mittens so you can go outside.
Oh.
That's where I'm at right now. I
Yeah,
totally
and
agree.
you wear all white too.
Right, so you can
White
see them.
socks and
Oh, good idea. Oh, see, I'm
then
learning.
you look really sharp in the yard. For sure.
Yes. I don't know my neighbors yet. How about you, Corey?
No,
Doesn't
they'd
matter.
be like, "What is that? Who is that? A state pet
Who's moving?
marshmallow man out there? What's going on?"
Yeah. Who moved in next door?
He isn't very stylish.
Giant marshmallow.
They say it has
Um,
something to do with the arts. It figures.
So
Go
I guess
ahead.
it's 1 o'clock. I should probably start my little discussion here at Habitat. Let's mute ourselves unless you got something really amazing to say. We're not talking ticks till afterwards. All right. We'll talk glass. How about that? Do glass. So I'd like to introduce you myself. Usually my brother Aaron comes in and does this. He says housekeeping and he goes this whole spiel. I don't really know what I'm doing, but he tried to walk me through it. And Regina, I owe it all to her for making this wonderful PowerPoint because I haven't made one since college, and it's fascinating. I got to say, it's like an old slideshow. we used to do the slides and they would, you'd make sure that you carefully place them somewhere because sometimes they would fall over and get all mixed up and you'd have that one slide that's upside down. You'd be flicking through them and you'd be like, oh my gosh, or getting them all mixed up. But this is a whole different thing. This is technology that's been out for about 2 decades, and I'm still have no idea what the hell's going on. So without further ado, I'm Corey Hampson, the host of this week's presentation about the award winners. This is not Corey's favorite pieces of glass. These are the award winners. And so what does that mean? Habatat started in 71, founded by my father and his sister, Ferdinand Hampson and Linda Boone. And they started the gallery, and in 72, they had the very first International Glass Invitational. And what they did was they asked different artists from around the world to send different pieces that they felt were their best pieces. And they would send them to Habatat, and we'd look at them and we'd have them on display for the very first time. And the problem was a lot of the work at that time looked just like other pieces. For example, you had a Marvin Lebowski look like a Chihuly, and the Chihuly looked like the Mark Peiser, and the Peiser, everybody was Tiffany fuming the pieces, and really you just couldn't tell who was making what. You had to flip it over to figure out, based on the signature, who made each piece. And so, that was in 71. We've come kind of a long way since then. 75, 81, artists are starting to create different pieces using different materials, perhaps coming up with their own theme, their own idea, and interpreting it through glass. And that spawned really the studio glass movement. But on top of that, our mega show, the International Glass Invitational. So just starting off, travel with Corey. What is that? I'm starting this travel idea where now, instead of taking big groups places, you can go with me somewhere in the world: Czech Republic, Seattle, Italy, Asheville, places that they have glass that you could see. I'm putting a small little group together to go to Asheville to see the Biltmore and the Chihuly at the Biltmore, which is really quite amazing. I just got back from there. I'm going to Italy in 2 days. I go there for literally 1 day and then I fly back. But I'm there meeting a couple to take them around the Venice Biennale. So I'm happy to do this. Just call me up. We'll set up a strategy and let me know where you want to go in the world. Okay, the award winners. See, I changed it from the favorites to the award winners. What are the award winners? Well, we offered every year a different juror to come out and put a little blue tag on their favorite artist, their favorite body of work. This year we invited Charles from the Fort Wayne Museum in Indiana. We invited Amy Moorfield from the Bergstrom Mahler Museum, which is amazing. And Nina, if you haven't been there, you should check it out in Wisconsin. And then my father, the founder of Habatat Galleries, was the third juror. And between the three of them, they selected their favorite work, of which we will see in this presentation. We'll talk a little bit about each piece, talk a little bit about my feelings about each piece, and then we'll move on to what we call Regina's favorites. And she did the PowerPoint. I gave her a little bit of leeway, and she wanted to show you guys what her favorite pieces are. We call them Regina's picks. Glass52 award winners. There's the ribbon of excellence. If you get this ribbon, it's a big deal. What it means is this year, those award winners get a museum exhibition. This year, it's at the Fort Wayne Museum in Indiana, where you are going to have work exhibited, which allows Habatat to get the very best work for the exhibition. So starting off, the award winners, Jen Blazina. I just got off the phone with her. She's an artist out of Pittsburgh currently, but doing some just incredible pieces. These Night Out, which had sold at the exhibition, is they're all cast glass, and they're purses. And some of them are made from vintage purses, cast from vintage purses. And sometimes she uses found chains, and other times she creates the chains in glass. Sometimes she casts bronze and little bronze elements and adds them into the purses. But I love them because they're a little tongue in cheek. There's stories for each one of them, and actually there's hidden hidden ideas about decadence behind some others. So I really love this this feeling that she has. She's really a true artist. I saw her work for the very first time at Art Basel. Most people say Art Basel and they mean like Scope or Art Miami, or no, she was at the main show at Art Basel. And actually, and I'll have to really check this with Bill Warmus, but I believe she was the very first artist to work in glass at Art Basel. That's amazing. So, you know, I saw her work, followed her career for a while. We brought her back. She has a one-person show that's going to be opening at the Bergstrom Mahler, all based on basically it's a candy store with ice cream and little chocolate pretzels and little food elements. And she's created the entire store. She's working on creating this entire store that's going to be available to see in Neenah, Wisconsin. So she's really a remarkable artist. Again, we're talking about Trumploy that's taking a material made of taking something, let's say this tape measure, and making it out of glass, taking something that is representational and making that out of glass, but you can't really tell that it is glass. And that is a very fancy term, Trumploy, that they use in the art world. So again, award winner number 1, Jen Blazina.
Hey, Corey.
Christina. Oh my God, Jen, I was just talking about you. I was just talking. Jen is on her way to DC. She's going to visit her accountant. But in the meantime, she wants to tell us a little bit about her work I might have missed, or her museum show that she is going to have at Neenah, in Neenah. Or Jen is going to not. I don't know. Jen.
Oh no, I am. I'm sorry. It's I'm in the car on my phone and I have never done Zoom on my phone before.
You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. So yeah, this body of work started with my grandmother's purse. And from there I kind of just started researching more about the icons of purses throughout her history and fashion icons. So the one that Corey showed in the middle was based off of Coco Chanel's purse. And the one on the right side was my grandmother's, and the one on the left side was my aunt's. And I just kind of like to take narratives and build my own within them. So, and then for the Bergstrom Mahler, I'm going to also be working on a bunch of pieces that is inspired by the actual founder of the museum, Mrs. Mahler. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bergstrom. So it will be kind of like a candy store meets her memories.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jen. That's exactly what I said. Verbatim.
I
No, I'm
know.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It is not. I'm so happy that you're here. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I'm excited to see that. When is that show in Neenah?
It's in April of, well, it actually opens on my birthday, April 28th in 2025.
2025. So you'll be 22 years old.
Yes,
Wonderful.
exactly. Yes. Just like the founding of Habatat.
It's
I'm the same
great.
birth year.
Same birth year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate
Yeah,
your
thank
time.
you. Thank you.
Next artist, Christina Bothwell, again from from Pennsylvania, but again, I have to. Jen is living in Philadelphia, not Pittsburgh. Thank you, Howard. And Christina is definitely in a small town outside of in Pennsylvania as well. She doesn't really come from the glass background. She came more out of the ceramic world, and she didn't really know so much about glass. She kind of had to invent some casting techniques. And as you can see, she doesn't really care. She leaves the plaster in the mold and pulls it out. A lot of it's really rough and archaic, and then sometimes paints the surface. So technically, it's work that it's it's not so much about the technique. It's more about, what the subject matter is. And the piece on the left-hand side she just redid, it's entitled Seasons. She's always, living in the middle of nowhere. She has a lot of hunters that come out in these grounds, and she looks up and she kind of covets what she sees. What does she see? She sees deer, in her backyard, and she sees these hunters come out. And for her, she's like anti-hunter, loves trees, anti-hunter. Why are you doing on my property? Why do you have to kill this animal for game? I don't quite get it. But she absolutely loves these animals as a part of her family. Seeing these deers every day. And so when she sees them shot in the woods, this is a very powerful piece and something that's very meaningful to her. And the deer, whether it's leaving its body, but it's a very spiritual sense of, here's this beautiful white deer that she had seen at one time in her life, and here's this spirit leaving the animal. But very powerful work. So you kind of have to give each one of them time. I've had clients say, "Oh, well, why aren't they smiling?" And so it's not really what they're about. They're kind of, some of them are fun and some of them are really just meaningful to her. And so you have to understand the artist to really understand the work. But I really appreciate her bringing this piece back, Seasons, in 2016. Also an award winner for our International Glass Invitational this year. Eli Cecil. Eli Cecil runs the glass program at Ben Zeiton, which is a incredible glass center in right outside of Boca Raton, Florida. And he's been working for a number of years. One of these pieces was done in collaboration with Laura Donifer. He uses frit on the surface, but works in a glass called Boro, which is like a soft glass used mainly in the glass pipe industry, and a couple others like Brent Key Young works in Boro. It's the same thing that the Bunsen beaker was made with Boro glass, if you remember science class. So I love these bonsai trees that he's creating, but Burning Desire, look at the names, the Passion Tree. I mean, absolutely wonderful, very whimsical, very colorful, as he is as well. So, and Laura Donifer for that matter. Deanna Clayton out of Door County, Wisconsin. I love the 2-tier section of these pieces. I'm trying to convince her to even make them a little bit larger. This technique is called pate verre, or paste of glass. It's the oldest recorded way of creating glass. When Homer wrote the Iliad, he wrote of a glass you can wad up on a ball and throw on the ground, it'll bounce. If you use a little bit of the powdered glass to make one of Deanna's pieces, you can mix it with an oil and actually make a bouncy ball. I've never tried it, but maybe you can just grab a piece of glass next time you see it at Habatat and throw it on the ground, see what happens. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But Deanna is a remarkable artist. She started making vessels and reliquary. I call them contemporary artifacts. And she would electroplate them and put them together. This technique changed once she was a discovery of this mesh material that was made of copper, which has the same melting point as glass. So now she's able to pack these pieces, and she started to work more figurative based on her mother and her relationship with her mother. And these faces have kind of changed a little bit as time has moved on. But notice how if you move the neck one way, she has a different feeling, as if you move the neck another way, it's a totally different expression. So she still uses those techniques, but really wonderful works of art. Letting Go, and then of course State of Mind, which sold at the show. Hannah Gibson from England, the UK, over the pond. She flew in for the show. Most of these artists were here. We had 40 artists from all around the world that showed up at this year's International. It was the biggest, the most amount of artists that have ever came to the gallery at one point. And next year might even be bigger. I don't know. We still have clients coming in every day. We had a museum from Germany that just came in that was very interested in a number of pieces, but we're getting a lot of international response for the show. I mean, it's been going on for over 52 years. So Hannah Gibson came in, and I love her work because first of all, it's those little Lego guys. I don't know if you recognize those little Lego guys, but those guys are, I'm stepping on them daily. If you got little kids or grandchildren, you know what those are. They kind of stick out of the carpet like little blades. But anyhow, they're all made from recycled glass. So I love the idea of being able to take something and reuse it. So they were glass. They had a function, they had a purpose, they had a reason. And now they have a different function and purpose and reason. They're used as as a way that the artist can express herself. And so I know you can see little clock pieces in one of them. They were a watch. There's the Perrier bottle. One of them was made from headlights. I just absolutely love the idea. It takes a tremendous amount of time to make her work. So if you see one, it's not just in a mold and out of a mold. She does a tremendous amount of cold working. And so I really appreciate her, and I really appreciate her work. Wilfried Grutens. So right now the GAS conference is in Berlin. Wilfried Grutens is from Germany. He's currently there right now, but he came in for the exhibition. This is a very interesting concept. He was inspired by, actually he told me, and I'm going to say it online for the first time, John Kuhn. John Kuhn's been working in glass for a number of years. What is cold working? Grinding, polishing, and laminating glass. Laminating is a special term they use for glue, but that is what he's been doing. The difference between John Kuhn and Wilfried Grutens is Wilfried paints each section before he laminates it together, creating these wonderful, like cosmic variances in each sculpture. And so as you explore them, they tend to disappear and reappear. They're really, really wonderful, extremely dynamic, and each one of them is completely different. It's like a completely different ecosystem in every single one of them. But he is another award winner. Tom Schoon, originally from Wisconsin, incredible artist. And again, I'm so happy he got a ribbon, and he ended up selling a piece that's going to go to a institution in Wisconsin. Just total coincidence. That is going to be, they just broke ground. It's going to be it's 25,000 square feet for women CEOs. Really an incredible, I'll do a whole Zoom about that and their glass collection coming up in the next few months. But I love the use of material in Tom Schoon's work, because he uses these stones and then he casts glass, but he incorporates the glass and the stone. But look at the faces and the heads, and look at the space in between. Look how they communicate with each other. So I mean, if the nose was going the other way, if your head was going the other way and someone was talking to your back, you'd have a different feeling than talking to them. Or even just the height changes. One becomes more dominant in a way. It's really fascinating if you look at them for a while. And whether they're women or men, man, I'm not quite sure. I don't even think he is. He just creates them based on a feeling that he has. And I love that idea that it's so ominous. Davids and Atek, Joshua and Aken, living in Kalamazoo. She's originally from Turkey. Again, these giant blown rondelles that are on the wall, and this idea of sandblasting, whether it's the mountainscape or below it's the city, or is it the city and that looks like the mountainscape? It has this wonderful feeling, and one of them comes from the mountains, the other one comes from the city. And I always kind of compare them to Jay Musler when he created the Cityscape series, which you could see on Suzanne France's, the cover of Suzanne France's publication of Contemporary Glass back in '88. This is another beautiful, I always look at the cityscape and I see it, but the idea that you can take the cityscape and say, well, maybe in 1,000 years, thousands of years from now, that cityscape will be mountains. Maybe another civilization will see that one day and say, oh, it's like Planet of the Apes. Oh my God, what is that thing? You damn dirty ape. No, I don't know. But I think that I can just, there's so many thoughts I get when I look at this, and it's amazing. If you blur your eyes looking at the city of New York, what do you see? So it's our idea of what a mountainscape might be. But again, beautiful piece, totally different from what they're usually creating. But that's what this show's about. It's about pushing yourself. It's not, don't give us something that we've seen before. And it's not so much, don't give us something that you think is going to sell. Push yourself as an artist. And that's what some of these artists have done. Aiken Davids have never created a wall piece, and they've never created a wall piece out of rondelles. And so I think that this is a really remarkable sculpture by them. And so good for them. They deserve the banner or the ribbon. Oh, here's a couple more pieces. Again, just you can see what they're used to doing. But the one on the left, they smushed the elements down a little bit. It's not the picture smushed down. The piece is actually smushed down. Pillars. Stephanie Trenchard, again from Door County, Wisconsin. What's going on with Door County, Wisconsin? It's a glass artist everywhere. I don't know, but it's incredible. She's Door County, Wisconsin. And again, she takes different imagery that she has inspired her, and they're all done on the end of a blowpipe, and she drops them into hot molten glass, and she sandcasts these specific sculptures, her work. And you know, I love the one on my mind. What's on her mind? What is that? It's like a house. Is there a house on her mind? You know, maybe it's on my mind. I got the bills. I got this house. I got PTE. No, I don't know. But anyhow, I love the idea that she expresses herself this way. Ninth Street Women, you know, artist colony, you know, just get the paint on the apron and the paintbrush, and let's create together. I love that. I absolutely do. You know, that's when glass tells a story, it becomes something else. It becomes art. Jeffrey Boughton, talk about telling a story. Talk about telling a story. Jeff was, you know, he was a military man, and him, like many others, suffer PTSD. And I've never suffered PTSD. I mean, I've had kids, you know, and I kind of blacked out that part of my life of what the hell was that? Staying up all night and changing those diapers. But I was never in any war or anything like that. I mean, other than my wife, I've never had any major conflict. Kidding. But these are very powerful pieces. The mittens, it's time to take them off and set them down and look at what they've been through. And sometimes you can really tell a lot by what people wear. I have a guy, a close friend of mine, who stares at shoes. He says, I can tell somebody by what they wear, you know, what kind of shoe they are, what kind of person they are. These gloves, which is the newest, Contagious 19. I'm not quite sure the title, Contagion series. But anyhow, I really look at the gloves, and it tells a lot about who could have worn them. So there is a piece that was acquired by Fort Wayne Museum in Indiana that's going to be moving around and going to different places that try to help people that have been in the war or who do have suffer from PTSD, which I think is really a remarkable thing. And so good for them for acquiring that and having a grander idea than just keeping it in the museum for themselves. Monica Gugesberg and Philip Baldwin. The greatest talk I've ever heard was in Sarasota during our Sarasota show, where Philip Baldwin spoke about his work. I can't say that there was a better one. I had no idea. I've been showing his work for 25 years. You know, I see him, he's a designer at Vanini. I see him in Venice. I talked to him in England. We're good friends, but I thought he just made very beautiful, decorative vessels. But what I didn't know is that he was inspired by these ancient cultures and these shipwrecks. And so what they would find is at the bottom of the ocean, the reliquary and all these wonderful vessel forms, apothecary forms, and all the just incredible. And they were covered in coral, some of them not. And they were used. These were useful, a lot of them highly decorative at the time, but useful jars and bowls and cups. And it's like finding a bunch of coffee mugs on the ground, but it defined the culture of the time. So, in Greece, when there would be a shipwreck, that culture was defined not just by the wreck, but by what they used. And a lot of them used these wonderful, these objects. So, the work took on a whole new meaning for me. And I really appreciate the artist. I appreciate the work. I said, it's really amazing how you glued all these pieces. He said, I don't use glue. I encalmo, which means bringing two hot pieces together while you're turning them. They're all done in Como, which is this Venetian technique that was brought to the United States by Lino Tagliapietro. But again, still a lot of artists like John Kiley, you'll see in Como in his work, and a number of other artists that we represent. But anyhow, really amazing. Here's a couple more renditions. Look at the one on the left. It reminds me of Calder in a way. And I love the duality of some of these elements. Really quite beautiful. And the one on the right, the cold work. So the Faro brothers in Italy are known for their cold work, and they did a lot of work early on for Lara, and as well as, of course, Monica Guggenberg and Philip Baldwin. Jim Hardy runs the program at College of Creative Studies here in Detroit. Took over from Herb Babcock over a decade ago. She's doing a phenomenal thing with the work. She just had an exhibition at the Heller Gallery before Heller decided, hey, I'm going to go online, and I got to get out of New York. It's driving me crazy. So I love these pieces. One person came up one person, this little girl came up to me and she goes, they look like coral. I said, oh my gosh, they look like they're coral. That's what they are. They're coral. And so it's amazing because I had a saltwater tank growing up, and I collected coral. So I'm looking at, and what happens when coral dies, it turns white, but it goes through this slow white process, but the interior is still alive. And so I get the feeling when I look at her work. Steeple's a really, I think, spectacular example of her work. Richard Jolly. If you don't know Richard Jolly, you don't know glass. I don't know what to tell you. Richard Jolly's been blowing glass since the 60s. Actually, believe it or not, he first started blowing glass at Peabody, and the professor was Michael Taylor. And he was, we're talking long ago, but Richard since then has gone on, and done tremendous works. If you ever get to the Knoxville Museum, you'll see a 215-foot installation that he had created for the museum that's in the permanent display, permanent case collection. I love the new work over the past couple years. He's slowly developing this series, paying homage to the Grecian art, paying homage to Roman glass, paying homage to the 60s where he started fuming the surface of glass. Got out of that for a long time, and now as you come back, you look at that beautiful Roman busk with the Roman profile that he has fumed. And I love this pink that he's using too. It's this it's a very pale salmon pink, and he uses a silver leaf on the surface too. But love the profile, love the new work, love the direction. David Patchen. Now this is a collaborative piece that he did with James Devereaux. And unlike the blown elements, this one is not blown, it's cast. And the surface was cut into almost chipped away. But he works in Marini, which is like pulling cane. You pull cane, hot glass, you grab it at the end and you pull it. You got a guy runs off to the side and another guy runs to the other side, and you can pull the cane really thin and then chop it into little beads, and you lay those beads down. But in this case, instead of blowing the glass, which is what Stephen Powell does, which you've seen Mark Petrovic do, in this case, David Patchen laid it down in a mold and had that cast, which is really unusual, quite beautiful, but had about 4 pieces in the gallery, and this was the only collaboration that they did. Oh, here's a couple more examples of the work, but look how detailed he's got. So this one, just from 23 to 24, look at this, look from 23, the one on the left-hand side. Really beautiful, okay? But 24, look how elaborate some of the Marini has gotten. It's out of control. Yeah, Davide Salvadori is another artist that works with Marini. Of course, Lino Tagliapietro works with Marini. A number of artists have worked with this type of Venetian technique. Few artists have Americanized it, like Richard Ritter and Dick Marcus, and they've taken their own idea and have taken the Marini and used it in their own way. I think David Patchen is totally changing what we know, what can and can't be done with Marini. And so I'm honored to have him be part of the show. I'm so happy he got an award. By the way, I had zero influence on the award winners. I did walk around with them. I'm sorry, the jurors. I walked around with them for a minute to tell them what was available, but I have to go into my dark room. I'm not allowed to talk to them because, you know, I could be influential. I get excited about certain things. And that can be contagious, I hear. So I got to stay away. They put me in my own room. They actually put handcuffs on me. It's crazy. No, I'm kidding. Toll Sand. So again, we're talking John Kuhn. We're talking Toll Sand. All cold work. Nothing done hot. I think that this infinity dot piece on the right hand side, this series is amazing. He does it takes so much work. It's an ovoid. It's this element that he uses where it's very difficult for him to cold work. He has to do it all by hand, and the back and the front are inverted, and so it actually moves. If you were to push the piece without the metal stand that makes it turn around, if you were to push the piece, it would move around on a desk or something flat. It would move around. It's really a remarkable, I think, shape. And he is a remarkable artist. He's been working for years and years. We just started working with him more closely, and I really love, again, this new direction that he's in. There's supposed to be a video that plays. Oh, oh, I'm glad it did that because I would have taken credit for playing piano there.
Hey Corey, turn the sound on. I think it'll be even more
Oh,
fun.
you can't. Oh, it just looks like it's me. Oh, does the sound not on? Am I the only one that hears the sound? Oh, it's great. Can you hear it now? No, Bob says no. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's the best part. It's like elevator music. Oh man, it's like smooth jazz. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's a shame. All right, well, you missed the music, but just imagine in your head just a slow, somber, uplifting sound by Craig Jaster. All right, how do I get out of here? I'm just going to keep on spinning, pieces spinning. Teal Heaven. I can't believe you can't hear the music. It's so sad. Okay. All right. Let's see what we're doing here. All right. I'm moving through all the pieces. I hope you guys don't mind. Because like I said, we'll be here for 2 hours if we keep on looking. But this is a very unusual shape, by the way. The element on the top is definitely blown. Very unusual for Toland. Okay, we saw that one. Wow. Here's the one that I wanted you to see. So we'll watch this one for a second, okay? So it's a shame because, like I said, the music with it only makes sense. But it changes. So you can see the element throughout. You see the elements on the interior move from the left to the right or to where it gets thinner. But really, they're there in the middle. It's the core of the sculpture, Infinity Dots. Okay. Get through these. Oh, he's got a bunch of them. 500 pieces later. Okay, hold on. What we'll do is this, get over here, go to the slideshow. Okay. Can I have a favorite? I just want one favorite. Give me one favorite, okay? I love all the work that we show, but I gotta say that Demetria and Dean's, this red piece on the right-hand side, could be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I begged my wife, I go, I love this piece. And she says, well, you know what? If it's there at the end of the show, we could talk, but hold off. And it's just, I don't know, the colors, the feeling, it just feels like autumn. It's one of my favorite seasons. The smell of the leaves. Maybe it's the kids trick-or-treating. Maybe it's sofa. I don't know what it is, but it's something that smells good. It smells natural, feels, and I missed that when I was living in St. Pete. I missed the change of seasons. And so something hits me when I look at these pieces. It really does. And the one on the left, Intrepid Heart, what you don't see is that the holes are all gilded in gold leaf. And it almost pays homage to the leaves and their natural what they should be doing, their natural state. And I love that. I really do. I think she's really onto something. Incredible artist, incredible couple, incredible duo. And again, beautiful work. And again, if I could say favorite, can I say it? No. These are the award winners. Award winners. So anyhow, I really enjoy the work. And so if you get a chance to come by the gallery, you should really see these in person. Michael Janis. I wonder what happens if I play these. So again, Regina set this whole thing up, and she's 20 years younger than me, so she knows what she's doing. Not my Regina. My Regina is at the house right now, actually soccer practice. Regina that works at the gallery, she set these up. And so she says, you could play each one of them. And so before I play each one of them, if you don't know Michael Janis from the Washington School of Glass, no other artist works like him. He uses powder glass and uses a process of a static electricity with his paintbrush to remove and do a deduction phase to get the imagery of each face. And he was an architect. He didn't know. He's used to drawing. That's what he does, architectural drawing. So coming from that world into this world and applying what he knew, he's able to create these wonderful pieces in past. And now he's incorporated video, which is amazing because it makes it more interactive with the eyes and the mouth, where he's almost knocked out certain areas that light comes through. So let's see this first one. Yeah, you can see that light coming through. So it's almost alive, which I really think is kind of funky and fun. Here's another one. It's almost blinking. It's blinking because something is blinking. And then, of course, this one. And all of them together have a different feeling, slow. Some of them more somber. Okay, I'm in a problem again. I don't know how to. Okay. Oh, Simone Cristani. So I met Simone when I was in Murano. He is one of the youngest maestros I'm on the island, and I think he's a phenomenal lamp worker, amazing artist, amazing goblet maker. And we have a few examples of his work. It's the very first time we've shown him at Habatat. I invited him a few years ago. He couldn't get the work together. And so he works in this like clear glass, clear and white Venetian white glass, really quite beautiful. This one has bumblebees. I believe there's another image. Look at this one. Oh, it's like he's got the traditional goblet, but he has these little bumblebees all over it. I love that. I absolutely do. And again, I don't think any other artist is working like this, using something. This one pays homage. It's literally very blurry, but to the top, there's a beetle on the top, which is really, really quite beautiful. Krista Israel has came on the scene, and she is amazing. She really is. No other artist, again, is working like she is. She's funky. She's everything that Pretty Glass isn't. And what she adds is, her element of surprise to every single piece that she has. And here you got these baby dolls. You don't really, I've stared at them for hours. I just don't know exactly sometimes what to make of them, but I keep on saying cute. and I don't know why. Adorable. Oh, it's adorable. It's cute. It's adorable. But as I study them, there's, does the body actually fit in the cup? Does the hair, like, where, like, there's an extra element there that confuses me, but also intrigues me. So I like that, I really do. And I think all of her work is like that. There's something there, but does it work? Lucy Lyon. What's different about these pieces, the piece on the left-hand side, Warm Thoughts, opposed to the piece on the right, she's obviously adding, bronze in her work, which she has in the past, never on this scale or size. But I love that she chose the glass element to be the things that we need in our life. So we need to feel warm. We need to feel secure. That's what I kind of get from the work. And you are who you are through life. And so you are more bronze, and the glass is flowing. And I don't know. I absolutely love the duality of the piece and the feeling of that, that she is kind of like a tough person, believe it or not. And so I really, I kind of see her in this new body of work that she's produced. Kieran Morch, the first time we've shown her, Ferd brought a group over to the Baltic and traveled throughout Europe and came across Karen's work. And she has shown in the United States a number of times, but this is the first time that we have shown her. And again, a fine selection. I love the gestural elements. I love the fact that they're polished on one side that you can see through and your eye stops and it's not clear like a, say, artists that work very clear so your eye doesn't go through. It actually stops to enjoy the element and they're like ribbon-esque. But I love the feeling, the flow feeling of her work. And this one big line fuchsia, it's such a beautiful dynamic color. Kathleen Mulcahy, she should win every year. Can I say that too? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, but I just, and with so much chaos, so much uncertainty in the world. And I look at these and it all melts away. It's like they're so calming, so beautiful, so elegant. And it has nothing to do with, I don't know if it's, I can't say, well, she did this in glass. No, it's really just a feeling that each one gives me. So again, only if we listen, which is the title, only if we listen, we can actually see something. So I really think it's quite beautiful. Elliot Walker, which is the winner of the second season of the Netflix show Blown Away, won a ribbon this year. Let's pay homage to the work. He is amazing. From the UK. I love this. It's like those old Dutch paintings, the still life. I love that. He brings it back, but he's incorporated glass and dichro film. So that's all clear. Some of them have a little dichro on the interior in terms of frit, but other than that, it's all clear. And then these dichro plates, which refract the light through each element. Really, really elegant sculpture. And I'm glad he's winner. Still life with lobster. The lobster tentacles come really thin on the top. Really quite amazing. Here's another example of his piece that he had created. I think this glass is called Chalcedonian. Dino Rossini works in Chalcedonian, which is an artist out of Murano, but I haven't seen too many other artists that work in this type of glass. Okay, we're almost wrapping it up. We got People's Choice Award. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. Okay, so People's Choice, what does that mean? During the opening, which you should go every year, and if you haven't, I don't know why, we give people stars. And you get to choose what you want your favorite piece to be. Now, you don't exactly put the star on the piece, you put it on a little placard next to the piece. And this year, the winner went to Julia and Robin Rogers from the Chrysler Museum. They did an amazing body of work and a lucky shot. It's just, look at this piece. If this doesn't make you smile, I don't know what will. I'm sorry. This is like those old full felt paintings that I would, that you'd see. I don't know. My friend had one in his basement, and it was like dogs playing cards. This is very similar. He's got dogs playing pool, and I absolutely love. This one has a little dog belt bone with a cigar in his mouth, and it's just real fun. So this is what won the People's Choice. And I'm telling you, when I say that we had people here for the opening, Aaron counted, we had a ticket tailor, 862 new people came through. That's amazing. 862 new people on the opening. I mean, a lot of the people show up. They've been coming every year for 50 years, but when you get close to 1,000 people showing up that have never been there before, it makes it very exciting. It makes it well worth it. And I'm just so happy for Julia and Robin Rogers. They're in Berlin again at the GAS conference, but this piece, it will be going to a museum, not in this country, but will be going to a museum. Okay, Regina's favorites. These are Regina's favorites. I don't know what the criteria is, but let's just say she's been working here for a few years, and if she's got a favorite, it's hers, and she has every right to it. So keep an open mind, but these are her favorites. Oh, well, I mean, of course, the Lino Taglia Pietra, Messiah Totem. Am I saying that right? Messiah, this is, we pretty much got to choose what we wanted from the archive, and we chose what we felt the most important piece, which is the largest totem that he's ever created. And it's extremely bright. It's quite beautiful. There's a couple elements, one that's blue and one that's like a pale green on the bottom. But again, just I can see why she would say that's her favorite, because I don't think there's anything like it in the world. Just a couple other extra elements. Again, beautiful colors by Lino. Steve Lynn, this is an amazing piece. This morning we were working on a nonprofit, trying to see if we can place this in New Orleans. Anybody has any connections out there, let me know, because we were working with is NOOO organization, because we feel that that's where it belongs. Really great choice. And I think Steve, are you on this call? Steve, are you here? No? I'm getting a no. Might be too late for Steve. Let's see. Okay, well, I don't see him. He was. Katrina Weintraub, gosh, remarkable artist from Boston. I love this, these pieces. I'm so happy that she picked, she did 5 of these. She tried an installation, but found that broke the installation up into 5 separate pieces. And they just, again, another piece, very whimsical, makes you smile. They kind of, this one hangs off the pedestal, which I love. Just again, real fun work. Oh, here's another one. Look at the leg up. Oh man. My kids would get a kick out of this. Oh, it's called Kickin'. Kickin'. Dan Alexander, who is a new artist for us, works out of St. Pete. We used to work at the Duncan McClellan Gallery and has opened up his own studio. Again, blowing glass, Marini. I can see this very beautiful form. Pearl Dick out of Chicago has a nonprofit there helping urban artists from Illinois to work with glass, and he's done an amazing job. Has gotten national recognition, but good friend for years, and I really do like this piece. She's got something on her mind too. I don't know what it is. Andre Jacob, I mean, beautiful objects from the Czech Republic. Every one of them, you know, and they change as you move around because they have that prism feel, but they're, you know, beautiful, almost like underwater, underground colors and civilizations. I love that. And that wraps up. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 5. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat. And I guess subscribe to us in YouTube. I don't know how to do that, but ask your son, daughter, or grandson, granddaughter to figure that out for you. And I think you ring the bell, you hit subscribe, follow us on YouTube if you want to see any of these videos. And if you have any questions about sales, please email Regina, Regina, at HABATAT. So right now I'm done sharing. Again, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer them. But great seeing you all. And thank you for joining us at Habitat Gallery's 52nd International Award winners.
I was at the show. It was remarkable. I had such a good time. Thank you,
Thank you,
Corey.
Howard. Thank you, Howard. Yeah, thanks for showing and your support. I appreciate it. It was a really fun exhibition. It's still going on, so if you haven't seen it, you need to make it to Detroit. You really do, because well, first of all, the food here is incredible. Okay. And if you want a tour of Detroit, I could give you a tour of Detroit. It's just gonna cost you, you know, I don't know, maybe a glass of wine or something. But thank you for all showing up for my talk. I'm gonna give a couple more of them. Aaron's really the one that handles these for the most part. Jane, I'll see you this summer as well. But you know, I kind of enjoy it as well. So I think I'll be joining you maybe once a month or so. Maybe you might see me next week as well. Thanks, Peggy. Any
I
questions?
just want to say hi, Corey, and thanks for doing this.
Gary! Oh
Yay,
my
hi.
gosh. Oh my gosh. I
I'm
just
so
had
sorry I missed it. I'm so sad.
it's okay. I had a client come in today to look at your work.
Oh,
And which is
yay.
kind of
Oh,
cool. Yeah,
good.
it was really, you know, and they were surprised, like, it's not glass. I go, no. They go, you know what? Feels like glass. I go, does it need to be glass? They said, no, it doesn't need to be glass. So is the blue elements, the, you know, it looks like almost like a bouquet of flowers. That's
Yes,
what they
yes.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going.
So-
I ended up making roses. I don't know what happened, but it happens to all of us at some point. We all have to have our moment with flowers because we're not allowed to do it in art school, you know.
Yeah, it goes flowers, butterflies, and skulls. I think that's the, you know, it's
Right. And horses. No
oh,
horses.
horses. Yeah, horses.
Anyway, thanks. It was great to hear your take on everything and wonderful to see the beautiful show. So I hope to get up there this summer. I'll be in Chicago, so I'll come up and see you.
Yeah, let us know, Carrie. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, well,
You're still there?
yeah. Bye. Thanks, Jen. I'm just sticking around for questions here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Corey. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
informative, gorgeous work.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
haven't had a chance to make it there yet, but we will be soon.
Yeah, you
So-
should. It's fun. It really is. I
Yeah.
mean, we just had a couple come in from Toledo that's never been here. We're like, really? You're an
Well, we
hour
always go,
away.
yeah, we always go every year, but this year we didn't make it. So lots of stuff going on here. So anyway, thank you. And I'm going to sign off and we'll see you there.
Looking forward to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. It was great seeing you.
Great. It was great.
Yeah, I
love
appreciate
your
it.
glow. Your forehead is unbelievable. Your
Yeah,
forehead.
you know,
Yeah.
maybe I should bring this light with me wherever I go. I look younger.
Or wear a Detroit Tigers baseball cap.
I should. I am a Tigers fan. You know,
Sure.
I'm going to six tonight with my mother. It's a musical about Henry VIII's
Oh, yeah.
sixth wife. Yeah. So
Jane went, I think in Detroit also.
oh, she did? Yeah.
At the Fisher. I
Yeah,
believe.
the Fisher. I think that they're playing in I think it's Lansing right now. So that's where I'm gonna
Okay.
go. We'll see how that is.
Well,
It's
it's quite different.
Is it?
Yep. Jane said I would not be crazy about it, but
Okay. The things
she
we
liked
do. The things we
She liked
do. No.
yeah.
Oh man.
So you're driving
Yeah.
to Lansing this afternoon?
Hour and 40 minutes, and then we'll have dinner at Mitchell's, and then we'll go over to we'll go there,
Okay.
and then I'll drive back, and then I fly out Monday for Italy.
Oh my God.
For what I'm flying in at 10:30 a.m. I fly out at 6 a.m. the next day. I'm
Oh,
literally flying in.
one day?
It is the next day. It's 20. I had to get my flight like now. It's a 20-hour flight to get there because I like all these. It's crazy.
It
I'm
is
telling you,
crazy.
Things I do.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
crazy, Corey.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
want to
well,
get
you know.
away from the kids and soccer practice for a couple of
Soccer
days.
is my life. I was there.
Yeah.
It's Saturday. Sunday is my life right now. I just
Right.
it's amazing.
my grandkids also.
Travel.
Yeah,
So,
unbelievable.
crazy. It's crazy.
So,
My son's gonna be
You,
Ronaldo. He
you
thinks he's
did a
gonna be
great
Ronaldo.
job today. Thank you.
No, thank you, Bob. And all my best to Jane. She should be on here. Where is she? I don't see her. She's on.
She's hiding somewhere in the house.
Well, tell her I said hi, please.
I will. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
You to Regina, please.
I will, of
Must.
course.
So good to see you at the party.
Yeah, it was definitely good to see you. I know Flint's doing something. They have a party on the 1st of
Oh.
June. So they do,
Don't know.
it's their opening, their once a year opening or something. I don't know. But if you're I don't know, you're kind of closer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
45
check it
minutes.
out. How 45, 25? 25?
45.
Oh, 45. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not, but anyways,
Door to
it's
door, 45.
45. That's not bad.
Depends on the construction.
That's right. Yeah.
It's interesting, Corey, that years ago there was a lot more Czech glass that you were showing than
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
now. It's really sort of changed over more to the American and British.
I don't know why. I don't know why. There, it's really interesting. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
phases maybe. I don't know. I still feel like we have a lot of Czech, but you're right. I love Czech glass.
We used to
And
go on
so,
trips there.
Huh.
We would buy like crazy.
yeah, yeah. And I still, it's just interesting. It's just a shift. There's a shift. Like Lukashi, I can only get one or two pieces. His son's not working, and that's Budapest. But there's no Bauhaus and Lugosi. There's Esther who's running the state. So now there's no trip there. There's one. So Czech Republic, I can go. I can still go because I got Karen's there, Lamont,
Yep.
and Hilovichka, he's there downtown, Prague one, and so is Martinetsky. So in one day I could do those three, and then I got if you go to Železny Broad, I got three other artists, and I got Novi Bor, I got 4 or 5. So I mean, I get these different places I can go, and of course, Hor and Exnar, but they don't leave their area, so I can do it, and I can bring the work here. The problem is I got to go there, for the most part. A lot of them don't email. Like Exnar doesn't email,
Really?
And Peter, I was working with Lukash, but Lukash is not, he's not there. So I talked to Peter, but we have a great collection of Peter Hoare here. I should do a retrospective of his work. I think I have like 35 really great pieces that have not been seen. So I mean, like I could do it. I just need the
Are they in the
space and
vault?
time.
Or
No, I have them, but they're all in because most of them are in crates, boxes. I got a whole body of his work. It's amazing. But some of these are like I have a really great collection. Like I really do have some really great pieces that just haven't been seen yet, It's really kind of sad too in a way, but I only have so much space and so many different shows I can do. We're thinking about, we're going to do another show this summer that's going to coincide with this exhibition. And
in Detroit, you're going to
in
do
Detroit, it's going to be Black artists that the Museum of Glass had a show, and we're kind of taking on that show that they had because there's a lot just haven't been exposed. I mean, we've shown Thurman for years and Deborah, but there's a lot others, and so I'm going to do that. But we're going to do that, and then yeah,
Are you going to
it's
tie
like
it in with what's on the floor now for
yeah.
this show?
Yeah. And that way it's not like its own thing, but it's
Right.
its own thing. It's integrated. And it's kind of complicated on how to do that, but we have some ideas, And as for like, one person exhibitions, it's like it's more exciting to see multi different person exhibitions rather than one person. Those have kind of gone the way of the dodo bird in a way, It's like why, but that's what artists they want, the one person attention. It's just it doesn't bring in the people, So yeah, I mean I'm lucky that there's still interest and excitement in museums, and there's still interest and excitement in the gallery, and people are still enthusiastic about glass. it's just almost like a different crowd. It's a crowd I've got to
It is a
educate.
different crowd.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, he was at the International. I had all these collectors here, and Michael Orlov came. He's been collecting for years out of Miami. He says, I don't recognize anybody. Who are all these people? And it's just like a different crowd of people that you have to introduce again. And then it's interesting because the artists are getting older, and some are, either like Glancy and Bentray, who passed away, and Steve Weinberg, who's not really working anymore, are like, and Lino's not working anymore. But how do they stay relevant? How does the work stay relevant? And then you have artists that are young that are coming up, but they don't have the museum collections or the notoriety or the books and the documentaries and the videos. So how are they going to compete with what's already been established? And what's the next step? So it's interesting,
And you got a
I
guy
think
like Steve Lynn who's still working and he's in his 80s.
81 years
great
old.
work.
The guy's still working at 81. He's
great
producing
work.
probably the best work he's ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult though, because every piece is only going to work for one person. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so targeted that it's only going to work for, and he doesn't like make the work based on that one person. He just makes the work based on himself. So then it's like, you got to find the one, that's excited about that particular topic, So really, the best way to work with his work is somebody likes to work that much, then they just commission him to make something based on their idea,
Have you ever looked
So
through his book, Corey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what he's done in his career.
Yeah. I mean, I own a piece. So does my father. He did a Banksy for me,
Right.
And he did a Jackson Pollock for Ferd, or Ferd acquired the Jackson Pollock. But I think Aaron owns one too. So we all have a piece of his. But I mean, listen, there's so many artists making things, today in glass, and it's hard to show everybody. So once I pick somebody up, I gotta like drop somebody.
That's
And
tough.
it's very tough because I have all these relations that have developed, or drop them for a couple years and pick them up after. And
If you drop them, do you have to send their pieces back to them, or do you?
yeah, for the
store 'em,
most
or-
for the most part. For the most part.
And that's
Sometimes I
expensive.
don't.
That's expensive.
This whole business is expensive. Like, anyone that's gone into this, they didn't do it to make money. It's not like they're in this because they love what they're doing. They believe in it as an art form. They love what they're doing, but they're not in it because everything is like, it's not like I'm shipping a bunch of paintings that are even the same price.
Right.
Everything is just. But on the other hand, you gotta have a sense of humor too. Like, my son broke a piece the other day, and it's just like, he broke one of my favorite pieces, broke in in the house.
And you had a sense of humor about that?
Yeah, you do. I mean, look at you have
Well, if you own a
sense of-
gallery, I guess you can afford to have a sense of humor.
It's not that. It's not that, Bob. It's the fact that, look, I own a gallery devoted to glass art. It's there's something, it's gonna happen, sometime down the road, the kids throwing basketballs in the house, it's gonna happen, so you gotta have, just kind of like laugh it off and be like, you know what? It's beautiful. I enjoyed it while it was around. And you know what? I have makes room for something else. I don't know. It's like, there it is, and
I'm
thank
still
gosh for
enjoying it every
insurance.
single day.
What's
Every
that?
single day. I'm still
You enjoy-
enjoying it every
Yeah,
single
well, you
day.
got, so I mean,
You
you have an amazing collection. You really do,
Thanks
you
to
know.
you guys.
Incredible collection. You really do. And I mean, I keep on thinking of the Tudzinski I put by your stairwell. That was
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, just the
remember
colors
that?
of
You
that one. You
remember
can't
that.
yeah, and some of these other things you won't be able to get your hands on anymore. Like, there are artists out there that are, you just will never see or be able to. And we're at a weird part in this whole spectrum of glass as an art form, because we're in a part where it's like these artists are slowly disappearing, and it's kind of cool. You get this new group coming in. And who are these people? I don't know. They don't even know. There's like virtually no education because nobody's really written the definitive book, or they have, like my father's tried and they have, but there's
Good.
no like documentary or something to keep it going. And so you get these artists on Blown Away and these TV series, and they don't know what the hell's going on. But I absolutely love the fact that what is part of our job is the educational side of it. And it's like, just teach them, show them the way. And then when they get to know other artists, the community is developed. And yeah, so I mean,
That's part of the beauty of the international,
that
to get these 40 artists into
Bob,
Detroit.
Bob,
and-
because there's no sofa anymore,
Right.
there's nothing going on. There's no event going
You're
on.
it. You really
This
are.
is it. This is the sofa. But what's different about this event than sofa is the fact that you can sit around on a couch in your blue jeans talking to an artist, not with no intention of buying their work whatsoever. And they have no intention of selling the work at all. You
Hmm.
know, it's not a sales thing. That is like the casual event. You just get to know these people. And then you can get to know other collectors too. And well, where's your collector? You know, I do the same thing. And it's all just very casual, and it's not stuffy, and it's not uncomfortable. And then the visit, you know, we have the tour all built in. We've been doing it for years, and it changes every year, you know, and like go to Flint this year, go to Toledo next year, go to, you know, Henry Ford. You know, we got all the museums are here. I wish we could drive to Muskegon. There's a great
Oh, yeah.
museum there. They just picked up a Karen Lamont.
Muskegon
Beautiful.
did?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I help them with that. Dress, beautiful dress. And so there's things that are out there that we you know, yeah, you know, that are out there that no one sees or knows. There's a museum in Shanghai that's 200,000 square feet.
Oh,
And they
my
get
God.
3 million visitors every year. And it's called the Shanghai Museum of Glass. And they have an amazing glass collection. But more importantly, they have 2 glass blowing furnaces. I'm sorry, rooms where they've got a ballet of glass, which is like an opera ballet you've never seen. They've got, you know, 2 restaurants, one of them called the Murano restaurant, and one of them, they've got, I mean, it's the grounds are crazy. And you know, I mean, 3 million people. And guess what? Nobody's heard of it. Nobody's been there.
Oh,
I've been there,
you
but
have
nobody's
been
been there. It's like, it is crazy. And so I had dinner with the guy, and he was, you know, the guy who started it. And he's a little frustrated. He says, you know, they don't even know I exist in the United States. You know, they don't even know I exist. And I said, holy shit. I mean, they don't. They just don't, you know? So it's amazing. That's one of the, I would say, the biggest glass museum in the world. You know, and they went to Corning, they went to all the museums to start, and they're like, we're gonna do our own. And they did. And it's not Chinese art, although there are a lot of Chinese artists, but it's also like Lino and Chihuly, and they borrow
Seriously.
stuff from Corning, and you know.
So it dwarfs the Imagine Museum, actually.
If you think Imagine Museum's 40,000, this is 200,000
It
square
does
feet.
dwarf it.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, yeah. So,
Incredible.
yeah, and aesthetically, it's put together extremely well. So they've done a very professional job. They built the building from scratch. Imagine's, you know, took an old schoolhouse and converted it. It's way
Right.
different. They're fitting work in, you know, we're talking about China too. This guy had endless amounts of financing put towards this project because he believes in it, you know, where, yeah.
But it's a museum. He doesn't sell.
No,
stuff
he
in
doesn't,
the
he doesn't
20,000
sell. He
foot building.
doesn't care about that. Doesn't care about that. And we're talking about a guy that doesn't care about it. You know, he cares about showing glass off as an art medium, which is amazing. It's totally philanthropic, you know.
Does he ever come to visit Habitat? Or
He's
would he
visited
come over?
Habitat, he's visited Heller. I met him in Venice at the gas conference. So
Okay.
he was running around, highly involved. His wife lives in Australia, or his wife lives in Australia. Daughter lives in Australia. So he's been to the Jam Factory and Canberra, you know, school. So he's been everywhere. He's been more places than I've been. Just researching
That's hard
glass.
to imagine that anybody.
I know, right. But he's you know, look at it's only a few years old. It's only like it's less than 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
It-
He acquired
yeah.
all that in 6, 7 years, or was it
Yeah.
stored somewhere else?
I would say probably he went to Corning. He was inspired by Corning and just went crazy, and just amazing. Yeah, I know they just installed the largest Josefa Gashmuka wall sculpture that is amazing that she's ever created. I saw them installing that. I follow them, but I tried working. I had a Richard Whiteley show that came from that museum. They only do 2 shows a year. One of them was Richard Whiteley, and they had about 12 pieces, and I ended up getting them. And I wanted to collaborate so bad, I paid for the catalog and the shipping and everything like that, which I ended up getting the
Are they at
the
Habitat?
show.
Oh, you got them for Habitat.
I've got like 4 left, I think, 4, 5. I don't know what I have left, but yeah. But that's it. So that happened, and then COVID hit, and I couldn't fly out there at all, and we were in a weird situation. I opened up the Hampson Gallery, and I couldn't get anyone in, because nobody was going to museums. They weren't going to shows. They had masks on, even in Florida. You think it was wide open? No, it wasn't wide open. I mean, it's kind of way more open than Detroit, but not wide open.
Hey, suggestion, Corey, buy a generator for your house. One of those
I
generators.
know,
Honest to God.
I
Hell
just
with DTE. Just
the
get
house.
yourself.
This house is the house is so, I don't know. It's twice the size of my old house. It's big,
Okay.
and
Get a bigger generator then.
I have 200. I counted. I have because I have to get them replaced because they're MR16s.
Mhm.
MR16s.
Sure.
I have 220 MR16s on the interior and 120 on the outside.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I have to get them replaced because they're kind of obsolete at this point.
Okay,
Can
you're
you
gonna
believe
put
that?
LEDs in?
Yeah, I have to go put LEDs in. But I mean, that was 220. Then I have, I think,
That's a lot of light.
75 5-inch cans. So I have all these I have all this energy, and I got this pump running. I got refrigerator. I got all this that I wasn't prepared for. So when DT goes out, when the power goes out, it's just I was not prepared for that. But
For
you're
another
right.
25 or $20,000, you can get a 45K generator from Generac. I've
Yeah.
had it for years, and it's incredible.
45K is like 45,000 what?
Kilowatts. Yeah,
Kilowatts?
yeah. I mean, we added up if everything were running
Yeah.
in our house, like summer, winter, we added it all up. Then we added but another 25% capacity. And that's what I bought. And it's only once you have it installed or once you buy it, it doesn't cost that much to up the kilowatts to get a bigger generator.
Let me ask you a question. Who's the architect that did your house again? It's all wood.
Red Beach, who came from the Aldendow School.
Okay, so he came from the
And the
Aldendow school, but he
the
wasn't Aldendow.
Aldendow School came from Frank Wright.
Yeah,
Frank Lloyd
so
Wright.
the son of Aldendow was an
Aldendow.
architect, right? Is that Aldendow? He was the son.
Aldendow was the son of the founder of Dow Chemical.
Okay, yeah, and the son was an architect under
Son was
Wright.
an architect, and he formed a
And
school. And
and
they
so-
really supported Frank Lloyd Wright
Yeah,
for years.
yeah, they did. They did. And then Beach was part of the school.
Beach was a founding member of Aldendow's group, and then he
Wow.
broke off on his own at some point. And he was
Wow.
the architect for our house. Plus, we had one of Frank Lloyd Wright's architects do one of the main rooms in our house.
Wow.
That was in 1953. It was built. And then we added on in 1988, but Red Beach was still alive.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it all fit together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
but it was interesting. We were talking about the Czech glass.
Yeah.
And when I published my first book, which you guys have some, Peter
Yeah.
Horace saw it.
I have it here somewhere.
Well, yeah, when Peter Horace saw it at SOFA, he was so excited because of the amount of Czech glass. Because
Yeah.
that's what we were into through Habitat.
Yeah. So I gotta show you this. Hold on for 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
This, let me see if it's coming through. Nope.
Is that
Oh, this
Yeah,
is
that-
Sylvia Petrova's book. Okay.
wow?
Her newest book of Czech glass. And to give you an idea of the scale, it has over 412 pages. It's a massive, massive publication by UMPRUM. And this is probably the greatest book on Czech glass I've ever seen. It just came out in English, and it was published, I'm telling you, like just recent, like within the last few years, 2019. And I got it in the Czech Republic when I was there, and it took all this time for them to send it to me.
You
Um,
got the English version.
I got the English version, which is very important, but it is absolutely remarkable. And I mean, it's not a picture book. It does have a lot of pictures, but talks a lot about Sigler, talks a lot about, the influences that Sigler had and Ivan Marish, things that we would not have, Jan Zoracek's even in here. It's got some artists that this artist I know had uh Delbor Tichy. You remember Tichy? He passed away at like 27. He's in it. Of course, Lubinsky's influence is all throughout, riddled throughout here. Halava. What it doesn't have, and it just mentions some of the more recent Czech artists.
Is
Because-
Halava's granddaughter in there? Because
Halava's
Flavicchio was
grand-
his son-in-law. Yeah,
So
Petra.
that's Zdenka. Oh, the granddaughter is
granddaughter.
Herbakova. Herbakova.
Yes,
So
yeah,
Petra.
Petra.
So I don't know if
I bought
Petra,
one of her pieces many years ago
yeah,
called
she's
Blue for My Grandpa, who was Pavel Halava. When I was in, she was showing a few pieces in Thomas Flavicka's studio.
I remember that. I actually have a couple of her pieces in the gallery right now. JH. She is not in here. Thomas Helvichka, Pavel Halava. She's Her Herbako
Yeah.
Her.
I always get confused on the spelling of her name also.
Yeah. She's not, see, that's part of the problem is a lot of this came from like Lubinsky's school, and it's got Yari Harsuba, but Novak Jr., but it doesn't have everybody. And that kind of drives me crazy. But honestly, she could have a mention in here.
Petra, I think, was her first name.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to see him.
And there was a show on her on either AACG or Habitat, either a Friday or Saturday. She was in a show on Zoom here
Yeah. So
last
yeah,
year.
yeah. She's amazing. She's amazing. So there's a lot of young Czech artists that are on there. There's a great designer, Berdych, Jacob Berdych, that his work isn't on there. There's I'm just blown away. And then some of the oldies, like the ones that my cousin Jay shows, they're not mentioned in there, and but one of the best, I think, Czech artists right now that I've ever seen making glass. And I saw the work at the Venice Biennale 2 years ago. The Czech consulate had the Czech consulate and the Cultural Center for the Arts got together and said, we don't have a Czech artist but we want to use this particular site. So it was a church on on the other side of the Grand Canal. It was a church that was across from Judaica. And,
Okay.
you know, beautiful, beautiful church. And it was the work of Ronnie Plessel. Ronnie Plessel is an artist that took over Stanislav's school. Professor Plessel took over Professor Levinsky's teachings. And he had cast these sculptures, and I should give you the book. They're the most remarkable pieces I have ever seen cast in glass.
Wow.
They were trunks of redwoods, and you know how thick a redwood is.
Sure.
I know Tom Caston knows how thick a redwood. He lives in California. They're monster trees, and they're in the church. And he made them in they're clear glass, from what I recall. And he got the bark, and they're hollow, but they're thick, like 3 to 4 inches thick. And
And he
so
made these out of glass?
out of glass, and they
Oh
were
my God.
tall. I mean, each one of them probably weighed close to 4,000 pounds, I'd say.
Oh my God.
And there was 3 of them, and you walk around them. I was there with Jane Bachman from Imagine, and then there was an altar that was neodymium that he had created that's also probably weighed close to a ton, and it was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen, because not just for art's sake, but for glass. And it was so remarkable that I had tears in my eyes, because they didn't use any light. It was the natural light that came in from the church windows that hit the pieces, and they just glowed in the middle of this really dark church, and in Venice.
Wow.
It just, oh God, it's stunning. It was crazy, crazy. And then, have you heard of Ronnie Plessel? No,
And
it's
you've
Ronnie
never really
Plessel.
heard of him before.
But he's a major designer of glass, and he's known for these cups and mugs and and his major production line all over. And so a lot of people know who he is, or know the line at least. If I look at a cup that he's done, I can tell you it's a Ronnie Plessel that did the design. But as an artist, I didn't no idea. And he's doing these major installations in the entire country. Like, this is the Venice Biennale. So we want this glass artist to represent the Czech Republic. I mean, they could have taken anybody. I mean, a very famous artist out of the Czech Republic does those giant babies. I don't know if you've ever seen those hanging from buildings, and his name's David. Yeah, it'll come to me in a minute. But no, they chose Ronnie Plessel to represent the Czech Republic.
Wow.
So they set up a booth, and he's over 20,000 people came through that one little booth. So when I was there, I was just like, they did a whole book on that particular series. And right now he's even doing large scale pieces, but he's an
Still working.
amazing artist. And so you talk about Czech glass, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen the best of the best that I've ever seen. And everything else to me, just like even Marish, some of these artists have done amazing pieces. That is nothing compared to what I saw. Levinsky, nothing, like the cast that he's able to do, and the technology that he had invented and developed. Berdych is the name of the other. No, yeah, I said that. Okay. Anyhow,
Is there any of his work in the United States, Corey?
no, there's nothing. In fact, they're talking to me. I flew out to London, 2022, 2 years ago. I flew out to London to meet them for 1 hour, and they didn't show up. So I tried to do it over Zoom, with them. And it was like, it wasn't the same. So not Ronnie, the representative from the cultural arts of the Czech Republic, to say, can I bring this over to the United States? Where can we show it? What can we do with it? Because it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And that was like literally a month after I saw the show. I set up the meeting and flew out there. So, I mean, my wife and I had a good time in London, but it was during design week. I mean, we had a great time, but I missed I didn't have a chance to really meet with them in person. And the Zoom was like, they didn't speak English very well or understood what I was trying to say. And there was no handshake. We couldn't put anything together. It just kind of fell flat, and I'm still trying to run a business back home. So it's not like I can sit there, but my mind was going like, this is the type of shit that people see. And literally, like, I'm a dealer. I fell apart. It went against everything that I possibly know that could be done in glass. And so, I mean, like,
it would probably, a piece like that would look great in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, yeah. I mean, that type of thing, and I don't know the price. I don't know the cost. I don't know the financing.
Corning. Yeah,
Something like this, you build a room around, like you did with you did with the boat. It's just that's
Yeah.
the type of thing you build the room around. You go and see and build the room. It's just so amazing that it like I said, folded me. I couldn't figure it out. It's so thick, the casting, and so large that I just and tall, you know. So there's an artist that does these large scale castings, and she's very well known. She actually worked with Chihuly, and her pieces go for millions of dollars. And her name is Horn, Robin Horn, Ronnie Horn. You know her?
no,
They're minimal pieces, very minimal, solid color, cylinder for the most part, sometimes box. And she shows at Basel and has a major gallery that picked her up, and they sell for big money. But she's an amazing artist. Those are a fraction of what she's doing, And you think of artists that are doing sophisticated work like Karen Lamont. Now eliminate the seams of a Karen Lamont in glass,
wow.
okay, and then grow the Karen Lamont 10 times its size. That's what I'm talking about. Like, cannot be done, has not been done, does not. It would take years, decades for us to figure that shit out, and it's done, right in front of my eyes.
It's cast
So
glass, right? Has to be cast.
cast, no, 100% cast glass. I
Yeah.
went to the factory and met the guys about the technology, and they were showing me they cast it in 3D. So there's no flat end. Okay. There's nothing flat whatsoever. It's cast in 3-dimensional. So they had the castings levitated and then spun somehow. And I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, I understand. And to me, I think of 3D, I'm like, well, like Leo Wingfield's 3D, right? You know? So is Lucy Lion, that's 3D, right? So it's not too complicated, but you get larger and larger and larger, it gets extremely complicated because there's thin little areas that feed into the mold, and it all has to be consistent. And when you get
Is there
something
a
that scale
furnace
and
large
size,
enough for a piece like that?
is what?
Is there a furnace large enough to handle a piece like that?
No, no,
So
no,
it has to be done in
no,
parts and then somehow put together?
no. I mean, or the furnace is built large enough. Like
Wow.
that's what Dan Clayman would rebuild every furnace to melt his glass. He
Mm.
literally rebuild his a furnace or whatever kiln to heat up the glass. So let's say he wanted something that was 10, 12 feet long, which he's cast before. He would take 3 or 4 of these sections, bring them together, and have the heating coils run on the top and the bottom. And then he was able to melt them all together in order to get the envelopes or the light beams or what have you that would work, And so he knew the technology and understood that. We're not talking about a Dan Clayman. I'm talking about something that was 3 to 4 inches thick, that was completely round and symmetrical. There virtually nothing that I know
Is
of.
this something Howard Bentrey could have done
Nope,
with factory? He couldn't have done that.
not with shot glass. So Howard went to
Okay.
shot. Shot didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Shot, in fact, shot, yeah, they were literally pouring those molds, pouring into shot aggressively. He was actually pouring in them pretty quickly, where all the bubbles would come to the surface and stuff like that, all the imperfections. And they were done in like very crude way, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
But that's what Howard was about, by the way.
Yes.
He was about that. And that's why there's some inconsistencies with some of the glass because of how quickly they were poured or how they were done. And then annealing is a whole other story. These things have to be annealed for
Yeah.
us all the time. I mean, think about how long they have to, the Lubinskis would have to anneal their piece, 2-3 months. These things would have to be annealed for, I couldn't tell you. I just don't know. I don't know the science behind it because it hasn't been invented for anywhere, not even like it's not sheet glass. This isn't float glass, so remarkable and just absolutely totally blown away. And I know I have the book. I'm looking for the Plesso book because he gave it to me. They gave it to me when I was there. I told them who I was, and they're like, "Oh, well, here's a book." I go crazy looking for this damn thing. I held it so much that the oils from my hand had embedded itself in the book. Because
Really?
this is the felt book, you know, old school. I just like had to show everyone I could find, you know. But still, even people don't, you know, like they
Hey,
don't
Corey,
understand. Yeah.
have you talked to John Lewis at all? You know, he's doing some really large architectural stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's
I also
built his own
heard,
equipment. I mean, you walk in his studio, you think, at least the one that I walked into looked like a steel mill.
so in the United States, John Miller is the only one. John
John
Miller, I'm
Lewis.
sorry. John Lewis is the only one that has the knowledge and the facility to create architectural glass like that. This was light years from that. Light years from that. He could not do this. This is something he couldn't do. You know, he does kiln pour. He does his glass the way shot glass does, the way Bentray does, which is like pouring. You know, this is not pouring. This is a mold mastery. This is not hot poured. You know, that's the difference. So you have to say it's brought up and not taken down. Now I know I've been through many John Lewis buildings. The one in Michigan here that the at the Greenfield Village he did with Jamie Carpenter, you know, not too long ago. Like that was done within the last decade. He some of the feats that he's done, I've never been able, the tables at Trump Tower, all these things I've seen are amazing, but they're not what I saw here. What I saw here was like I said, you take Lubinsky the first time you saw Karen Lamont and you just, you know, multiply that. And it's like, oh, you know, I just can't even process it. And again, no representation in the United States. I don't know what he cares to do. You know, I know him personally because we have some pieces at Imagine that he did way before. But here it's like totally different level of
On
stuff.
these redwoods that you saw,
Yeah.
you said they reflect from the daylight. It's sort of like
Hold on.
Lubinsky, you know, in a window.
Yep.
That
Yep.
like he says, Lubinsky says, "Well, my pieces go to sleep at night." So,
Yes. So I bet you I can hold on. I just lost you. Did I lose you?
oh
No.
no,
Can you see
you
this?
got somehow I'm Mr. Glass now.
Okay. You are
Can
okay.
you hear
Hold
me?
on for 1 second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can share screen, see if I can get a picture of that piece to show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Oh my God, amazing. Great. But I mean, the official Venice Biennale, this isn't like Barango's, like, I'm part of the Venice Biennale. He's not. This is the official thing. So let's see if I
Right.
can go here, go into,
You need one of your kids to get you there.
share screen, right? Yeah, share screen, sharing that screen, right? Here. Okay, share. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hold on. Let's see if I can get this. That's the altar.
From this,
Hold on.
wow,
Technology. Let's see this.
that's the guy.
No, that's got to be the guy that works on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's not showing me English.
The first photograph you show was you
No,
showed was like a tree.
that's him. Honey Plessel.
Huh.
Curator. Oh yeah, Lucy. That's who I was the meeting with from um she's one of the people that's supposed to be part of the meeting that I'm supposed to have.
You're the one who stood you up?
Yeah, yep. Press recognition. No, okay, so then I'm just gonna Google, this is, look at Ronnie Plessel, Venice Biennale. So let's just do Ronnie Plessel, Venice. How do I spell Biennale? I don't know, but
BIEN.
BIEN.
BIEN. Two N's. You'll
Yeah.
get.
I mean, nothing,
there it
like,
is.
I don't
There it
know,
is.
hold on, it's not a great picture of it. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, but you get a sense.
Oh, I gotta show you. Oh, what I do? Okay, hold on.
Wow.
There's not a great picture of it.
Oh.
But again, I'm on the Venice Biennale. Like, this is like the biggest, like, your world fit. You can't. Here they are.
Oh, look at that.
Single castings. But here the
Single
light's not
casting.
even hitting them.
How tall are they, would you say?
I mean,
In feet? 8 feet?
no, because you
Taller?
could touch the top of 8 feet. This, they're also on these pegs here too, but I'm gonna see. I think I took a picture of Jane in one of them. They're taller than 8 feet. I couldn't jump up and grab the top of it. They're, let me
Wow.
see if I can get Jane. Picture of Jane in one. Hold on. For my
Are they
phone.
lit at night, Corey?
No.
So it's
They're
only
not
in the
lit at night.
daytime you
The
get
light
the-
comes out through the daytime and it doesn't really matter. So they were up for 2 years, or not 2 years, 2 years ago. And then oh,
Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that glow.
yeah. The uranium glasses. And that piece alone was amazing. But look at, you see how
That shot right there.
yeah, you can see where the light came through.
Yep.
You can see how thick the glass is. I mean, this isn't like children's work. Like, there is nobody in the world that I've seen that has cast, nowhere work like this.
It's
Here,
hollow. It's hollow though, right?
Hollow, but it's
But it's amazing that I've
here's a
never seen
video.
anything like that.
Can you watch this? Can you see this?
I see a door.
Yeah, me too. Maybe it's choppy. I don't know.
I see water. Oh, there he is. That looks like the top of his head.
What are we doing?
They were kind. When it was done,
Yeah, yeah.
those people came back
Oh.
from Nashville.
Oh yeah, they're interested.
Said you like
Okay.
a piece like that.
Okay.
You
Sounds
just
like a
missed-
customer.
Yep.
You gotta leave us, Corey. It's a
I will.
customer.
Let me see how long this video is. Oh yeah, there it is. Amazing.
It is amazing.
Amazing. Amazing.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, well,
Sorry.
stay in touch. Stay in touch.
Okay. Now go sell some glass.
Hey, Corey, quick question for you.
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't get there at 11 your time. The question I have is, you aware of the Billy Morris piece that was sold at Rago yesterday?
Oh yeah, of course. Sold 390,000, it said. Yes, I'm aware of
Yeah.
it. Here's my
Yeah.
question to you
Yeah.
about it. Well, let me see. I'm recording. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay,
Okay, all right. Here,
yeah,
hold on. Yes, I'm very familiar with the piece. Aaron and I are both very familiar with the piece. We know where it came from. We're well aware of it. That would be amazing if we felt that it sold for $390,000 to a collector. That would be the most amazing thing. That means that people would be bidding that piece up to $390,000. And that would be amazing.
yes,
Okay. You know, that would be like the greatest thing that ever happened to me, I would say, in my world.
right.
Okay.
But I don't think that's what happened.
Well, I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, but I mean, hey, I would be dusting off my Billy Morris's and putting them.
Right.
Yeah, you just
We'll
give me a
talk.
third, you know. So I don't know. You know, we'll have a different conversation about that. But like I
Yeah.
said, if that happened, it would be a life changer for me in this industry.
Yeah,
You know.
I figured. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
We'll talk.
All right. Okay. Sounds good.
Good to see you.
guys.
Bye.